Welcome back to Melodic Memories of the Lights Monarch. I'm Casey, and today I need to touch upon The Life of a Showgirl by Taylor Swift. I know it was a huge focus of last week's episode, but I had some more thoughts about it, and I actually ended up writing about it on Twitter just a little bit, and for those that didn't see it, here's what I had to say about it. Also, regarding my most recent podcast episode, Corn in Canada and The Life of a Showgirl, which was last week, I gave my own tier list of all the songs on the album, and that same evening after publishing, I instantly regretted it. I listened to the album once more and realized I made a mistake. It's not the end of the world, opinions do change with time, but with how quickly mine have, I wish I would have taken more time before giving said list. Ultimately, they were my first impressions overall, and I've many more thoughts towards the album, not just songs, but in its entirety. From the mixed reception it's been getting alongside my own mixed reactions from song to song, and to the marketing practices that are at play, I've still more to talk about, and those thoughts and proper tier list will be displayed and explored next episode once my thoughts truly settle. Until then, check out the new episodes and let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear them and start a conversation. And here is the episode. I needed to finally get my thoughts in order, and I have a little bit. I don't know if I can fully, because this album, I'll just be straight up, it is not at all Taylor Swift's best. And who am I to judge, truly, but I'm a fan. That's what this album is for, right? Or at least it should be. Most artists would say, yes, my music, my art is for my fans, but I have to say with this album, it doesn't feel like that's the case. With Taylor Swift and her back catalog of many albums, again, this is album 12. Like, it's not her first go around. It's just unfortunate to see how much the quality has dropped, or maybe that's how it's always been. Maybe it was just looking through it with jaded glasses or rose-tinted glasses. I don't know. It's hard to kind of remove myself from the music that did help me through a lot of stuff in my life. And I know it's weird to say about Taylor Swift, but that's the joy about her. She's able to connect with so many different kinds of people from so many different paths of life. And for me personally, I will be honest and say I got my heart crushed, and a lot of things happened at a certain period of my life, and that's when I really latched on. And it was music that was able to help me through it. Not saying she was all that helped me through it. I know I have my other bands that I do adore, like Black Veil Brides, 21 Pilots, Paramore, NF. His album Hope came out around that time. Like, there's a lot of music, even Bad Omens, Dayseeker, like a lot of music helped me, and I definitely am somebody that gets help through music, that finds solace within the lyrics that these artists are able to sing and these stories they're able to create, even if they are personal ones to themselves. I'm able to take my own meaning from that and make them mean something to me. Whereas with Life of a Showgirl, maybe it's because I'm past that point, I feel fine, I feel healed, but this one did not do that. And I'm not just the only person that thinks as such. I've seen online a lot of discourse, as I mentioned. A lot of people are not enjoying this one. Just be it because it sounds like something written by somebody trying to stay relevant, or just, really cringy terms. It's hard to say, because I don't ever really want to shit on Taylor Swift. I did have respect for her, and it seems like every day that passes, at least for that first week, my respect kind of slowly declined. And I still respect her as a human being, but the way that she did this whole album rollout, I can't respect in one single bit. And it's upsetting, to say the least, because to see her release not only many, many different variants, which is nothing new. She's not the only one that does that. A lot of other people have. But the way that those variants were released in being such limited time, maybe like 24 hours for some of them, others for like a week or so, I can't even remember the exact time frame, but they were all limited. Very limited. To create that FOMO, which is something that runs the world nowadays. Even Alex, my roommate, he called me out for when I bought the CDs, because she ended up releasing 4 new CDs that have acoustic tracks, if you will, of certain songs on it. New cover art as well, which is not shocking, but I ordered those because I found it in my mind as a reason to get it, as I wanted more content. And that's the downside. I say content, it's not even art at this point, which is sad to say because I feel like it should be. But with the way she's pumping it out, it's hard to say art. Obviously, art is a vast concept. It doesn't have to be one thing over the other, it doesn't have to be one single way. But just the way that it felt kind of felt like content over art, but I digress. Since I bought these CDs, I talked to him about it, and he's like, yes, FOMO. The world runs on it. And it is true. It made me think a little bit, because I instantly got defensive, like, no. I didn't buy this out of FOMO. I bought this because there's legitimate reason. It's not just a special cover, or not just a picture, a different picture on the cover. Like, it's something extra. And my mind went straight to, I can just look up the different album artworks and experience them that way if I really want to. Why do I need to have it in person? But same can be said for these acoustic tracks. If I really wanted to, I'm sure there's a Discord out there or some sort of, maybe even on YouTube, Google Drive, who knows, where you can go and get these different versions. I knew that it was there for, I believe, the Tortured Poets when she was doing the same thing for that. I didn't get any of the downloads or CDs. I don't even remember what she did for that. I believe she did downloads only, but I digress again to say that I got duped. As much as I am still looking forward to getting these CDs, with the way that the album is kind of settled with me, I don't so much care anymore, and I think that's the saddest part for me. How much I find myself not caring about this release. And maybe that's just my own personal take from all of this, but it's just something that is upsetting for someone that was very much into the whole lead up to this album, thinking that this should be something very artistic, very, authentic for her to say that this is only going to have 12 tracks and something she's most excited about, like most excited release she's been able to make, an album, her words, an album that she's wanted to make for a long time. I don't think it's anything special, and I don't think anyone thinks it's anything special either. There's some people that are a little bit in denial, some copium, if you will, of saying, it's satire, it's supposed to be bad, and I get wanting to appreciate an artist's art, especially if they're one of your favorites. But when it comes to giving excuses to say that, it's bad on purpose, that doesn't give it any merit. It's kind of how I feel about the new Ice Nine Kills song. Not the laugh track, which just came out, mind you. I haven't listened to that yet. But the second newest, their Matrix song, The Great Unknown, I believe it's called, where they went straight into it saying, the reason it's bad is because it's AI of our old songs, or something of the sorts of that. Like, and some people do like that song. I'm not saying it's, obscenely bad, but there's nothing unique to it. There's nothing special to it. It does exactly what it's supposed to. And I guess it has its place in that sense, but where's the artistry in that? And for people to be like, it's supposed to be like that because of lore and story, and I get it. I'm a huge fan of 21 Pilots. A lot of people say that about Scaled and Icy because it was propaganda for the whole Dima storyline, which I'm not going to get into the weeds of that because that's a whole nother concept, but just to say, like, I understand it. I'm in a fandom. I've been a fan of this band that has done that, but they didn't make it bad. A lot of people didn't like it, and I get it. Bad and good is completely subjective. Like, there's no way for me to say, this is good, and you expect to, find it good as well. There's certain things that a lot of people just, universally say is good or bad, but it's always up to the person. And with that album, in my opinion, I believe Scaled and Icy didn't nearly hit the lows that this album did. Granted, I do really enjoy Scaled and Icy. The first time I heard it, I did not like it at all, but then I realized, they made it not as dark as Trench, the one prior, to where they were trying to make it happy, more light, more, something to bring the people out of the dark depths of the whole pandemic that we were going through at the time, and escape. And even though it still had all the lore to it, if you really look into it, there's a ton of it in that album. A lot of people just overlooked it because it sounded more poppy, more happy, more flashy. And a lot of people don't seem to like happiness in their art. And that kind of goes back to The Life of a Showgirl, with the way that it kind of is Taylor Swift just being completely happy instead of down in the dumps and heartbroken and all this because, Travis is actually good to her for what we can see. I'm conflicted. This album leaves me very conflicted to where I want to say I'm very happy for her. I really like some of the songs on it, but then there's the other side of like, wow, this kind of sucks. And I mean that with no disrespect. It is still Taylor Swift at the end of the day. She made crazy numbers on this. But it goes to an interview that she did. I can't remember what late night show or if it was with the Zane Lowe on Apple Music. Regardless of who it was with, she went to say that so long as you're talking about my album and saying my name in the first week of its release, then you're helping. She doesn't care if it's bad. She doesn't care if it's good. And mind you, as an artist, you can't really care about those things because if you focus so much on the bad, you're going to be probably distraught. And then if you focus too much on the good, you're going to have your mind filled with a bunch of nonsense of, wow, I'm a god. Which some artists do, and I'm sure maybe some of it has gotten to her over the past years because look how much she was praised for the Eras Tour. And a lot of these different things that she's been doing recently, like, she's on a level of her own. And something with this new album, with the way she's been releasing it and how it does feel, as I've heard a lot of people say, very predatory. Not that you have to buy any of the albums, but again, the way that it is portrayed, just limited edition, never to be pressed again, just, again, all of these different things to say, hey, buy it now or forever miss out, which is really unfortunate for a lot of people that are big fans because a lot of it does sell out. But again, that's not the point. It just pushes that, oh, I need to buy this now so she can get her numbers. And that's all it really feels like. To me, outside looking in, as a fan of Taylor Swift, a Swiftie that went to the Eras Tour, it feels like this is just a numbers game to her now. I don't know when it switched. Maybe it was the same in the last album. But now more than ever, it feels like all she cares about is the numbers. She wants to beat Adele. She wants to get that number one, like she wants to be bigger than anybody else. And if that's the case, cool, good for her. But that doesn't sound like something you would make art for. You're supposed to have it be a personal expression, a personal reflection on you and what you're dealing with, what you're feeling with, something to get it out. And again, I get it. Everyone makes art for a different reason. Some people make stupid songs just to make stupid songs. Like, it's fine. There's no one way of doing it. But with Taylor Swift and her back catalog of music, I get it to reinvent yourself and change the lane every so often. But this just feels completely weird. And I don't know, again, I'm conflicted. I don't know how to feel about it. Now, for The Life of a Showgirl, that album in particular, the way that she said, if you're talking about it, then you're helping me out. I guess she's not wrong. She's kind of owning the fact that, oh, hey, she knows that a lot of people are kind of shitting on this album and saying, oh, instead of The Life of a Showgirl, The Life of a Capitalist, which is something I seen on TikTok, I believe. Can't remember the user, so apologies, but it just screams like a lot of Swifties. It's hard to get onto the Swiftie talk or Swiftie side that people are really enjoying it. And there are some. I even have a friend on Facebook. I seen her post about it and she said literally lyrical perfection. And I couldn't help but cringe. Power to her for liking it so much. And that's why I didn't dislike it. I didn't comment and ask why. Maybe I should have, because I do like to understand. Knowledge is power, in my opinion, but sometimes people just like the things they like, and that's the case of, that's how it is. There's no other way around it. And with this album, I personally, as it probably is very obvious, don't care for it very much. I do still have a proper tier list that I am going to give right now, but as for the album itself, I'm not a fan of how she's been making every single chance she gets to get more money out of her fans. Hate it. Absolutely hate it. And again, I know 21 Pilots released 21 different variants of their album, but I will say, none of them were limited except for one, which the one being two, FPE edition, which was before the album was even announced properly, just for the fans that were already following the story and everything. That's why it's called FPE Edition, First Pressing Edition. FPE means a lot to the fans. If you're a fan, you know. And then the Digital Remains for Breach, which had an extra song, which was also for the fans, because it was the proper ending. Like the full proper ending, if you will. And only fans would really care about that. The other variants, you could get any single one you wanted. Even the box sets, like they were all there. There was no limit. Maybe there was a limited number, I guess. But they weren't shown. There was no limited number shown. There was no limited time you can get this for except for those two. And that was at the very beginning and very end of the album release. So, I don't know. It feels different. And maybe that's just my bias towards 21 Pilots. But I can even go as far as Lady Gaga with Mayhem. I don't believe she released any limited things like that, even though she had a shit ton of variants. A lot of artists do the variant thing, but Taylor Swift does it differently. And I mean, I can't deny it's smart. It is a very, very smart business practice. But it doesn't come off very great. Like, as a fan, as a consumer of her music, I can't help but just feel jaded towards it all. But again, I digress. Last thing I'll say about any of the releases, and kind of what made me this upset and really think about it so much, was the night my podcast came out last week. I released it, had the good things to say about it, my first impressions, right? And then what she ended up doing was kind of what I expected, but I wasn't prepared. Because she released those 4 CDs and, you know, the bonus tracks, whatever else, for a limited time of like 24 hours. And then she ended up releasing every single one of those CDs, day after day after day after day, 4 days in a row, all for 24 hours each. And they had extra content on it. Granted, they were only iTunes downloads. I don't believe there was any way else of getting them. I think you had to have iTunes, which is fine. I mean, I use an Apple device. If I really wanted it, I could have, but that's not my complaint. My complaint is that she released the exact same things again. Granted, it did have voice memos, quote unquote, which I have heard are absolutely awful. I have only heard a couple, and they do make me laugh and kind of cringe a little bit, because they don't seem like somebody that's inspired to create something. They seem like somebody that's just there trying to spit out as much as they can that they think will be successful. Again, rubs me the wrong way. Not very artistic in my mind, and doesn't have a lot of, as I've said in prior episodes, integrity. Again, that's just me, but hated that. And then the last day when she released the 4th variant on iTunes, there was also a US exclusive, didn't come to Canada, different version of that had everything on it, if I'm not mistaken. And, can I just say angry? Like, how much that makes me angry to think about that? Just, I don't know. Do you like your fans, Taylor Swift? Like, that's the thing that I have to ask, because I know I'll never get an answer, and of course she's going to say she loves her fans. And again, maybe this is just me because I'm not supposed to be a part of this fan base anymore. I don't know, maybe I ran my course. But whatever it is, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel great. And with this album, I listened to it a bit last week, at the very, around when it was coming out, up to maybe Wednesday. I don't think I've listened to it at all since. Just no motivation. I'd rather listen to Breach or something from Valley or different pop music, Again, I like the sad stuff, but that's not what this is about. I very much love some of the happy songs that she was able to release, but it's the lyrics, the artistry of the lyricism. And I'm not saying she's supposed to be some poet, but she's the one that said she was the tortured poet. I don't know. She's very contradictory to who she was before, and I get people change, and if this is the change she's making, power to her. I just don't think it's going to be for me, and that's all. But to kind of stop rambling about all that, it's been about 20 minutes or so. My tier list, my proper tier list that I actually wanted to give to the life of a showgirl, since the last time it was not proper. I'm not even going to mention what it was because it changed quite a bit. And here it is. Number 1, Opalite. Obviously, Opalite, I love what it stands for. It is a lot of fun. I do love the vibe of it. Kind of hearing that it might have some racist undertones to it, and that I haven't really looked too much into, so I'm going to try not to think about that. And maybe ignorance isn't the right way of going about it, but all the same, I am focusing on the imagery and artistry she says in the chorus, how the onyx black night turned to the sky turned to opalite. That lyric in particular, just carving your own path to happiness, making it yourself. Not to say anything about her, downplaying Travis's ex or anything of the sort. I just love that imagery, that artistry, because that's kind of what I feel like I did in my own life. So I relate to that a lot, and it is straight up a vibe. Number 2, Elizabeth Taylor. That is still my number 2, top 2, still the same. That hasn't changed at all. Very much love both those songs. They could honestly flip-flop between the two, just vibes. But number 3 is where it changed up to Ruin the Friendship. That song, okay. At first, and I just didn't really like it. I liked the ending of it. I very much thought it was a sad one, but after listening to it right after I recorded the last episode, it clicked. I knew instantly that is going to be one of my favorites because it made me cry. Which is like, I still don't love a lot of the lyrics in the song. I do believe it could have been presented a little bit better than it was. But for what it was, it is one of the deepest songs on the album. And it's wild to say so because she says a lot of stuff that makes you cringe a little bit, but you get it. If you listen to the song, you get it. And number 4, Honey. Love that one still, even though it is very, very simple. Probably the most simple on the album. Number 5, The Fate of Ophelia. Number 1 track on the album, first single. It is my number 5 pick. Number 6, this one moved up quite a bit for me. The Life of a Showgirl. I actually really like the vibe of it. I don't know, it brings me back to kind of Speak Now era, but obviously not as polished or good. Not saying Speak Now was very polished, it was very raw, and that's one of the things that really made Speak Now what it was, but I'm just saying in the sound, the tone of it, it's very much a Speak Now kind of song, and all these different songs can fit to different eras, but I guess that's what she was doing while she was on the Eras tour, while practicing these old songs. She's like, oh, let's write in this kind of tone. I'm not sure, but that's my number 6. Number 7, Wish List. Number 8, Eldest Daughter. Number 9, Cancelled. Number 10, Actually Romantic. Number 11, Father Figure. And number 12, the worst song on the album, Would. And that's self-explanatory. I know a lot of people love that song, or at least I've seen a lot of people love that song. Weirdest thing, Travis Kelce's sister-in-law likes that song, and she's like, yeah, it's a bit much to know that it's about my brother's, brother-in-law's wood, if you will. But she's like, I don't know, it was really weird. Her statement, I can't remember exactly what she said, but it was fucking weird. But yeah, that's my list. The last last 4, 5... The last 5 songs on the album that I gave there, the Eldest Daughter, Cancelled, Actually Romantic, Father Figure, and Would, I didn't really like at all, to be honest. There's different parts of the songs that I like a little more than others, but it's just not really, I don't know. Eldest Daughter, for example. What a good song it could have been. But then just the lyrics, oh, we dressed up as wolves and we looked fire. Really? I don't know, it's just the imagery, it just doesn't feel very artsy. And maybe that's my issue, my own problem, as I've said this whole podcast, but not for me. Not for me. And a lot of the different lyrics throughout the whole album just make me cringe. And I'd go off about it, but I'm not here to shit on the album, even if it feels like I have been for the last 20, 25 minutes, but just not my thing, and I hope that everyone else that is enjoying the album has, their proper reasons. I'd love to hear it. Give me all your thoughts, because there's a lot to talk about, but at the same time, I think I'm ready to move on. I don't think this is going to be really an album I sit around with and think about, because there's not much to it. Even with the whole movie theater experience, as cool as it is to just be the experience or have the experience of a community, that was fun on its own, but the content that was shown on screen and the things shared behind the scenes, there wasn't much. like in the whole grand scheme of things. And she's been doing a bunch of interviews that I haven't really cared to look at or watch. I don't know, maybe I feel jaded towards it all. I just don't care anymore. And I will be there for the upcoming Eras Tour docuseries on Disney Plus. It was announced today on Good Morning America. It comes out December 12th, I do believe, on Disney Plus, at least the first 2 episodes. I'm not sure how it's going to be releasing like that, but going to be on Disney Plus if y'all haven't. And then she's also going to be releasing the Eras Tour, the final show, which will be from the show that I was able to see. At least certain clips will be, because she filmed all 3 nights. I'm not sure which, nights she'll actually use, but all the same, it's from that show, the Swift Cougar. I'm very looking forward to that. Very much excited. First time to see the Tortured Poets department set on the Eras Tour stage. And you know what? I think that might be my go-ahead to just close the chapter myself. Just as she's been saying, it's the way to close the book for this whole era, the Eras Tour and everything like that. I think with this docuseries, I will watch it, and then I'll watch that final show, and I'll close my own little metaphorical book and say, Taylor Swift, it was nice. Thank you for the journey that you helped me through, and thank you for the music that I know I can listen to anytime. But if you're going to go down this route and continue making music like this, and happiness, no, is not the problem. It's just the lyricism. I think it's good for me. I think I'm good to just kind of, peace out and go enjoy other music, other artists, just as I always do. And maybe I will be surprised in the future. Who knows? The future is unwritten. I'm not calling her off completely, but that will be my closing of my own chapter, to be like, cool, whatever comes next comes next. If it is something just as, I don't want to say mediocre, but I'm going to say it because I can't think of any other word to use. Mediocre as this album was, I think I'm good. But all that to say, I don't really have much else to talk about. I just really wanted to get all of that off of my chest. The only other things I could talk about, to be honest, are the Blue Jays. Now, again, sports might not be everyone's cup of tea, and if it isn't, that's fine. But the Blue Jays are currently in the playoffs, and they are trying to make it to the World Series. They are obviously a baseball team, those that don't know, the Toronto Blue Jays. I very much have been getting into them, very much enjoying them. They lost their last game against Seattle, which is round, I believe, 3 or 4. And they're getting close, but yeah, they're not playing the greatest. So anybody that's out there watching the Blue Jays, cheer them on. They need all their support that they can get. Granted, they do have literally all of Canada behind them, which is hilarious. Whenever a Canadian team makes it, even when it's in the NHL, somehow Canadians just, gather together and stand behind their team. Even people that don't like sports, like some of my, my roommates, they don't really care about sports, but they still support. And I personally appreciate that. I love that. And I hope that everyone else is able to as well, because not only did the Blue Jays make the playoffs, the Edmonton Oilers are finally starting their season up. The NHL has started. They are currently a win and a loss, and they, I believe, play sometime next week. Blue Jays play today as I'm recording this, which is why I'm trying to get it out here as soon as possible so I can go watch the game. And it's going to be hopefully a good day. Not only was that, but Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. I can't believe I almost forgot. Canadian Thanksgiving, mind you. Happy Thanksgiving to all my fellow Canadians. It has been a good weekend. Even with the Blue Jays loss, I hope everyone was able to, stock up on some turkey, stock up on some family time. I know I certainly did. I was able to go out to my parents. We built a fence, which sounds like, yes, a very weird Thanksgiving, activity, but I'm not going to dive into that, but it was a lot of fun. It was a bonding experience, if you will. And I was able to, spend time with family. What is better than that? Truthfully, what is better than that? Because family, at the end of the day, are the people that you're able to lean on, or at least should be able to. And to those that don't, my heart goes out to you. Feel free to reach out again at Lights Monarch. Talk to me. So hopefully everyone enjoyed their weekend with Thanksgiving. If you are Canadian, if you're not, happy Indigenous Day, I believe it is, and fuck Columbus Day, I believe is how you say it. All the same, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed my rambles about Taylor Swift. Please, again, let me know your own thoughts and go check out my YouTube channel, @LightsMonarch. I just did an unboxing video of Breach and all the different variants that I was able to get, and I will probably end up doing the same for Taylor Swift whenever I get them in. The mail system has been a little bit hectic. Canada Post is on strike. I'm not sure when that'll end. I don't even know if they're being sent through that, but all the same, whenever I get said packages of all the things I ordered for Taylor Swift, that'll be the next unboxing I do. So please look forward to that. Subscribe, hit the bell, all the good stuff. And thank you for your support. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you for discovering the music within.